everyone, I hope everyone is doing well. I'm quickly going to speak about hair, and I see this issue a lot, and every second person that I know is struggling with hair fall. They have dandruff issues, and which is not normal, okay? Just because every second person has it, it's not normal. And even though I am going to speak about some remedies that you could possibly use with me and with any video that comes on this channel, you always have to know that my approach is inside out, and I cannot just fix something on the outside when the actual wound and damage is on the inside. So just speaking about hair, what you see on the outside, and this hair that you see is basically known as hair shaft, which is basically made up of dead protein, or the keratin as a most common term. Now what happens is the hair shaft is the dead part, it's not the living part. The living part is inside of us, which is also known as hair follicles. So it's like, you know, they have a tiny micro immune system of their own going on, and what is going on inside the body is always going to reflect on your hair health and on your skin health. So it speaks volumes about what is going on the inside. Now all of the cells will need vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, magnesium, selenium. We all need these things. Now let us say you are eating correctly, but when your body has to choose between let's say rejuvenating the intestinal layer of your gut, or it has to choose between giving you great skin and great hair, and if it has, like, you know, very sufficient amount of these nutrients, the body is always going to direct all of the energy that it has towards your survival and not towards your aesthetics. So this is what I've been trying to explain on IG as well in the last 2 days, that if you are eating correctly and if you still have issues, it just means that you are somewhere or the other minutely deficient, or maybe there is you know, poor absorption inside the gut, and the gut is not able to process the B12 and B vitamins and your copper, zinc, selenium, and that is why it is reflecting in the form of hair fall. Now eating tons and tons amount of protein is not really the solution. You have to make sure that your body is absorbing even the tinutest, or say the milligrams amount of minerals that you are consuming, okay? I'll talk about hair fall later, but just quickly to touch upon dandruff. Now dandruff can be a very chronic condition. It's a very on and off kind of condition, and people do have it for a very long period of time. Yes, it can be because of genes, and when I speak about hair follicles, it also has sebaceous glands. So it's a gland. It could be tiny, it could be small, you don't see it, but it's there, just like your thyroid gland, your adrenal glands. And glands are very sensitive to environment, towards toxins, towards stress, and 100% stress is directly related to your hair fall. It's directly related to dandruff, and I'll explain you how just in a minute. So dandruff can be a chronic condition. Yes, it can be due to puberty, because, you know, your sebaceous glands are hyperactive, and these glands can produce an oil which is also known as sebum, and that can make your scalp little itchy and just very flaky in nature. But before we reach there, you always have to know that when I look at dandruff, the first thing that comes to my head is, oh, this is deficiency of omega-3 fatty acids, or just in general fatty acids. If you have gone through a crash diet, it will lead to these problems, because your body is deficient in minute micronutrients that it needs to function optimally. So the hair follicles, they need micronutrition and not just protein. So I would say focus on the micronutrients and focus on the absorption of macros and micro, and that's going to fix the condition. So with dandruff, it's usually number one, if your diet is insufficient, if you're malnourished, and if your body is not absorbing the nutrition properly, then that is the first thing that you should fix. And when we speak about omega-3 fatty acids, if you're non-vegetarian, well and good. If you're vegetarian or vegan, you need your walnuts, flax seeds, chia seeds. You can also have algal version, that is vegan form of DNA. You can get it in form of capsules, supplements. You can get fish oil, you can get cod liver oil. There are great brands on the market out there. So supplementing with omega-3, or just eating food that is rich in omega-3 is going to be really, really helpful. And just make sure that a lot of walnuts and flax and chia can be a little warming. So if you are someone who has the internal capacity to be just, you know, tendency to be a little bit warm in nature, you just have to balance these ingredients for your own body. Otherwise it works really well for the most of us. Number two would be, you should always look into your zinc and selenium. This is like two minerals that I think almost everyone who is not supplementing is going to be deficient in. Now you can always find this in your nuts and seeds and wholesome foods and stuff, but if you do not have it, I would say supplementing with zinc around 20 mg to 30 mg, maximum reaching up to 50 would be great, because the body cannot really store zinc, so you need to get it in the form of food or supplement. Now when you are too high on zinc, it can actually deplete copper, so you just have to strike that balance and calculate it according to you, but zinc really helps. When we speak about home remedies, there are tons of home remedies that work. My number one preference would be taking aspirin. So when I say take aspirin, I don't mean ingest it, but if you can just take aspirin tablets, it's very easily available. The main ingredient is salicylic acid, and this is the same ingredient that you will find in a lot of anti-dandruff shampoos, okay? And there have been clinical trials done on this and stuff. So what you can do is you can take depending on your hair length and stuff, you can take 2 to 3 capsules of aspirin. You can add a little bit of lemon juice, you can add some water, you can add some apple cider vinegar, make a nice paste out of it, apply it on your scalp, not on your dead thing, because the actual issue is on the scalp, right? So just applying a nice thick paste of this on your scalp and just letting it sit for say around 10 to 12 minutes, and then washing it off is really going to help. Now when you have serious dandruff condition, and when you have, like, you know, excessively hyperreactive oily kind of a scalp, I don't recommend oiling your hair a lot. And if you're just combing your hair and brushing your hair all day, that can also create a lot of friction, which can again aggravate the condition. So taking care on that front. Another great Ayurvedic home remedy would be methi and dahi paste. So what you basically do is you soak around 1 to 2 tablespoons of methi seeds overnight, and then next morning you can just grind it in a mortar and pestle, and you add preferably homemade curd, and all the protein and fatty acids and all the micronutrients from methi. You can actually also eat this and it would still be helpful, but dandruff, since it's on the outside, and it can be very chronic, and it can get very severe and itchy if not taken care of, this really helps. So ideally you should apply, if you don't have a very oily scalp, and if your scalp is somewhere between normal and dry, you can apply gingerly oil, you can apply coconut oil, don't apply castor oil, it can be too thick. You can also do cold pressed mustard oil, that would also be helpful. And mustard oil is really helpful when it comes to premature graying of hair. So just application is not enough, but it helps. And just apply it, and then on top of this you can do your methi and dahi ka paste. Keep it in your hair for say like 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, and then wash it off. You can do it 2 to 3 times per week. And another great remedy would be taking some baking soda with water. So just rinsing your hair before or after shampooing the hair, depending on how chronic your condition is. You just need to see which works the best, but this really works. And taking like 2 to 3 tablespoons of baking soda, making a nice solution out of it, and just rinsing your hair will also take care of the dandruff. So these are a few remedies that really works. But again, omega-3 fatty acids, zinc, selenium should be your first line of action. And once you are great on this front, and once you know that you are getting sufficient amount of fatty acids, your diet is not deficient, you are eating a varied range of nuts and wholesome fruits and foods and vegetables and stuff, then you can do these home remedies and just keeping your hair clean. Like I said, don't oil it a lot if it's not needed, and if your hair is decent enough, don't create a lot of friction, don't use someone else's comb, and keep your hair clean if you're working out. And if you know the temperature is too humid and hot, it can also aggravate the condition. So just making sure that you are following the basis. If it's because of your genes, if your parents had it in their younger days, then there is a huge possibility that you are going to have it too. But that doesn't mean that you can't manage it or keep it under control, because it can be really annoying. So just follow the basics, and I hope this serves you well. And yeah, take care.